on this audio tape and says that Barack Obama is, quote, powerless to halt the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, which, as I wrote in the article, seems a pretty odd statement to make in light of the fact that Obama has only extended and aggressively beefed the campaigns in Afghanistan and Iraq. The withdrawal in Iraq was a mirage. He moved some troops out of the inner cities and just moved them out to the edges of the cities. And as you've talked about, Alex, 50,000 contractors were sent back in again.
Okay, absolutely. And we're talking to Paul Watson about his article, CIA-linked Intel Center releases highly suspicious bin Laden tape. We now have more of these fake New York raids where they admit, oh, these are preemptive, we had no evidence. Turned out Cheney did those earlier and wanted to charge the guys under military courts, they were U.S. citizens, to set the precedent to use the military against the general public. Under Bush and now under Obama, they've issued DHS reports listing that Homeland Security is for conservatives, gun owners, libertarians, Ron Paul supporters, anti-Federal Reserve people. So this whole police state is for us, not for Al-Qaeda. Even if you believe Al-Qaeda, admittedly CIA created, attacked us on 9/11, you can clearly see that the whole Homeland Security apparatus is being used against we the people. So we'll talk to Paul Watson more about that in a final segment with him on the other side of this quick break. And then we got Charlie Sheen coming up in about an hour and 10 minutes from now. We're going to continue with your phone calls, get into all the big new flu developments with forced inoculations being discussed, and a lot more coming up. This is the GCN Radio Network. Stay with us. Final segment with Paul Watson, going straight to your calls and a ton of news on the other side of this break. Paul, finishing up with the latest fake bin Laden tape, all these fake raids. Clearly, they were building up to bolster the official 9/11 story before Charlie went public. Now they're accelerating it. They make national TV programs countering us, attacking us. They clearly are worried about what we're doing. That shows that we're affecting change and that we have a chance to stop these people, or they wouldn't be spending so much time and energy going after us.
Well, the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq fundamentally rely on the official 9/11 story being true. It's like Webster Tarpley says, if that can be denigrated and discredited, then it completely undermines the foundation of their wars. What's interesting about almost every bin Laden tape is the fact that whoever has scripted it, and all the experts say that bin Laden died in late 2001. Everything since then has been scripted. Whoever's scripting it betrays an intricate knowledge of U.S. political talking points that only somebody who closely followed it would know. Remember back in 2000, I think it was a London Independent reporter went out and met bin Laden and was flabbergasted about how bin Laden was completely cut off from society and that he didn't know anything about even major news that was breaking at the time. And he accepted newspapers from the reporter like it was gold or something because he was so keen to catch up on the news because he was completely cut off from it. These tapes betray a deep knowledge of political talking points, which is why the rhetoric contained in them is similar to the same rhetoric that we put out and that opponents of Obama put out. They're ascribing our criticism of Obama to Osama bin Laden as a means of discrediting it in the overall picture.
Absolutely. Good propaganda has to sound reasonable, too, or the public is not going to buy into the bait. It has to sound like it's a real critique. So these are legitimate critiques, but it's coming from al-Qaeda, bin Laden, and so now it's discredited. On another subject, Glenn Beck clearly came out and said we had to have the banker bailout, and it was good. He supported the Patriot Act. He said Ron Paul was a dangerous piece of crap. As soon as Ron Paul lost the election, suddenly he was his best friend. Glenn Beck has clearly been positioned to manage and be loyal opposition for the establishment, controlling the libertarian / conservative backlash to Obama. And I get all these mean emails and calls. I can't believe how ignorant. In fact, I was reading some of the comments on prisonplanet.com on my open letter to Beck that just went up a few minutes ago that we're asking folks to put out. And they were saying, oh, Alex must work for Acorn. Yeah, we've been attacking Acorn day one, making a film about Acorn, exposing Acorn, selling books, exposing them, having Tarpley on. And you've got these fake mainline conservatives. See, we're already back to left-right. Now I'm a commie. Now I'm for Obama because I am pointing out that Beck is loyal opposition. Can't these guys understand that both parties and both movements are controlled?
Well, it doesn't look like they can understand that because they don't have the attention span to watch a 3-minute, 20-second YouTube video where Beck, when he was on CNN, is saying that he supports the bailout, and then later when he's on Fox News, you know, every day he's attacking the bailout just because when he supported it, Bush was in office and now Obama's in office.
Yeah, he's counting on people not having long attention spans. And I'm going after Beck in a nice way to try to just point out to his followers that he will betray them so that they'll notice while he's doing it. I mean, he does it right out in the open. This is painful, Paul. I mean, I'm committed to defeating the globalist takedown of the Western world, and I just wish Beck wasn't a traitor.
Well, how can he be, quote, a libertarian at heart when he vehemently supported the USA Patriot Act and he supported the wars of aggression launched under Bush and continued by Obama? Those political opinions are not subscribed to by the vast, vast majority of libertarians. So he's leading people astray. And anyone that can watch that GQ video where he stages the crying on demand and doesn't think he's a phony after that is just completely deluded.
Stay there. Let's do 5 more minutes on Beck, then I'm going to the phone calls. Charlie Sheen coming up live in the next hour. This is GCN. Stay with us. Before I get back into Glenn Beck and my open letter and video to him, Paul, what about this Kanye West guy at some video awards getting up as a stunt, grabbing the microphone away insanely, I guess just in his hatred of the lady who was on stage? Obama responds to that, but Charlie Sheen says, I want to meet with you with 9/11 first responders and families of victims of 9/11, and the White House says, we're going to take a pass on that meeting with you. They did respond to Sheen. He'll be talking about that coming up next hour. I mean, just talk about incredible pettiness.
Well, that's right. I mean, this was reported this morning that an ABC news report was talking to Obama, and he had, you know, the White House claims he's too busy to even acknowledge Sheen's letter, never mind meet with Sheen. But obviously he's not too busy to talk about some mindless antics of this hip-hop star jumping on stage at an MTV Music Awards show. He spoke at length about that, and yet he can't even acknowledge questions that are shared by the 9/11 victims' family members that are, you know, put out in this letter by Charlie Sheen. So again, it's total hypocrisy. In fact, Obama routinely makes mindless comments about everything under the sun, yet he can't even acknowledge what Sheen's done.
Well, the silence really illustrates how they're afraid of the facts. They just got to have their Fox News and ABC News pundits and John McCain's daughter come out and name call. And remember, John McCain in Popular Mechanics, in that totally debunked joke of a research book, wrote the foreword attacking me